Welcome to episode 30. I wanted to talk about Nova AI today and why we built it, the kind of roadblock breaker tool that is different from ChatGPT, Grok, all of that stuff today. First of all, welcome in. Most of us are getting into the holiday season. We just had daylight savings time. It threw off a lot of people's schedules, threw on my schedule. I'm not used to being dark this early out, so it's a little bit weird for me. But settle in, grab whatever you need, a drink or some food or maybe whatever time it is in your time zone now. And let's get to it. I'm Caleb Schilke. I'm the host of the podcast.
I am co-host Anthony Para, COO. I don't know. I'm still working on the tagline.
And here we are. So I want to touch on what I did last time when we were together. We talked about some of the state of the world facts, and I have a few more of them that I didn't get to bring up last time. I think it's relevant, even though it kind of makes me sound like a party pooper, just because it's important to understand where everyone's at. 2025, unemployment right now is at 4.3%. It's really high. That's really high. We've recently seen massive increases in that, according to McKinsey and just reading the news in general. Up to 300,000 jobs have been displaced by AI in this year alone. $38 trillion debt in the country of the United States with a $1.2 trillion interest. We're paying more on interest. We're paying 50% more almost on interest than we pay the entire U.S. military, just for reference. And that's more than Medicare. Low trust, right? The Gallup has 50-year trust in government and institutions at an all-time low in the 50-year point. There's negative confidence. 74% look pessimistically on the state of future in our country, which has created mental traps. Entrepreneurs, especially 20-year-olds, switch tools in their businesses. They don't know what to use. People don't have proper guidance. The internet's a mess of information. And so a lot of people give up. And this means that they're spending, they're so motivated to get things done. And it feels like to everybody online that they're just losing so much that you have to keep spending money, trying new businesses, ideas, and you push through whatever, and the stuff you hear. And a lot of times you just miss solutions. A lot of times it's just because of inexperience. From what you've seen in the tech market, in your experience coaching so far, and just being in the same space working with me on this stuff, Anthony, what does it look like? What are the key signs that someone is stuck? If someone was at that point, what would you say they would be doing, saying? What would their behavior look like to you?
From my experience, I'd say it looks like constant analysis, staying busy but not really progressing. I won't really add anything much more to that. We can dive deeper into that what I mean by that is like you brought up tools. I think another thing that people get stuck analyzing is like what steps to take next. I spent a ton of time doing that myself. And the thing is like everyone, like the reason people like to say I guess people think the reason that everyone doesn't just start a business or be successful otherwise in a good career is because it's hard, which I mean, there might be some truth to that, but I really think it's just because everyone kind of just assumes they have time to like wait for the right moment, or they assume that, conditions will be better eventually, or I need to learn how to do this exactly 100% perfect before I, put myself out there. Or I need to learn how to speak better before I try. And then you just kind of continue thinking that. And then like you wake up one day and you're 40 and it's kind of too late. So I think it's just comes down to like constant analysis without actually like taking any progressive action towards, just making progress. As simple as it's put. Like it's, I can just speak from my own experience, but that was definitely what plagued me for sure.
When people are in that stuck position, do you think that what do you think is the common response that people do? Let's say I don't know how to make an LLC, and I also don't know if this is even a profitable market to be in. I don't know what it even looks like in terms of making revenue. I don't know what my costs are going to be yet. If somebody's inexperienced, what do you think the thoughts are going through their head? Because to me, I feel like it's do I even want to do this? Is probably the biggest question that they're asking.
Yeah, do I even want to do this? And if you decide that it is something you want to pursue, like the next question is how. For me, I don't know. I kind of just decided to forego deciding if I wanted to do it because I had nothing else better for me going on. So I just decided to start pursuing fitness coaching, whether I felt like that's what I wanted to or not. And I've come to figure out it's not really exactly where I want to be right now. But then it was more of a question of how do you do it? And so the thought that constantly ran through my mind was like, let me just learn more and learn more and learn more and learn more. Like I would say I was working on the business, 5, 6 hours a day. But like 5 to 5.5 of those hours were just me like researching, like asking AI what the best way to go about this is, or what should I worry about as far as this goes. And I think the second question is how do you get it done? And people just spend so much time trying to figure that out, which they're not even really trying. It feels productive to do that. And then that's all they end up doing for a long time.
I like to look at especially the growth journey of an entrepreneur in those questions. I think that's actually a good way to break it down because most people, if they're new to entrepreneur, they're like being an entrepreneur. They're like, is this even something? Am I even doing the right thing? Is usually like the first couple questions. Is this something I want to do? Eventually, you kind of get to the phase where you start asking, what tool would be better for the job? Who should I go to ask for help on this? Stuff like that, which kind of shifts the momentum, right? It's kind of that cycle of growth where you start to realize that you actually can make it out. And that's usually you seeking a solution, which is not necessarily, a lot of people fail at a lot of businesses. But the reason you end up being successful most of the time is because not the business idea changes or is inherently good or bad, just you happen to start asking the right questions and figuring out that there is a way to make it through almost any business. You could be successful in almost any business model if you are the person that knows how to ask those questions. And the sooner you develop as an entrepreneur, the easier it is to start winning and winning. And why do you think Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos could get dropped into the middle of nowhere and become a billionaire again? It's because they have that framework taught to them and they know how to think differently from everybody else. I think part of it too is overload. I think right nowadays, especially, you just get on social media, whatever, you're getting overwhelmed with this mass influx of information. The average entrepreneur spends about $1,200 a year if they're an actual, fully invested entrepreneur on different tools. Most of them average about 11 subscriptions a month. 87% of their tools never integrate with each other, and the economic flux makes jobs unreliable. AI hype right now that we're in is kind of leading to this in some ways because there's so many AI tools that you're like, oh, this would make this task more efficient, this task more efficient. But a lot of the times, like it's just independent companies making their own tools and they don't actually work together or sync data. So you're paying for a bunch of different tools to help you be more efficient at certain tasks just because they're AI nowadays, but not actually because they're going to create a system that is a business. You still have to connect every single dot. Now you just have more dots in general. And so 87% of startups fail from these execution gaps. I think another thing too we could go on about is the actual trust in these companies too. We can get to that too, but my question I think in this section is how do you see this specific type of behavior, of just maybe being spread too thin in terms of the tools you're using, show up in entrepreneurs who've been burned out? And like, what do you think is one thing that keeps them repeating this cycle over and over of looking for new solutions instead of actually, making money? It's always one pivot away. Why does that happen to people?
Yeah, I guess that was a kind of a two-parter. To answer the first part about how does the statistics you just read about how many tools are at the disposal of entrepreneurs, and then further than that, how many are like consistently being used. Most entrepreneurs are using a ton of them, a suite of tools that aren't, like you said, aren't really integrated. So I think the way that plays into burnout is like if you have a CRM on some platform and then you have your daily tasking scheduling on one platform, you have an AI tool on one platform. I mean, I say AI tool, I meant more like ChatGPT, but nowadays there's like tons of AI tools that do a ton of things for you. Outreach, for example, we use one like that. I think the way it plays into burnout is just adding to that idea of being overwhelmed. Like with the same way a normal person gets overwhelmed with information on social media, entrepreneurs are overwhelmed by the amount of things they have to keep track of. That's why people hire virtual assistants or just personal assistants. But if you're doing it by yourself and you're like a new startup and you're new to the entrepreneurial scene, like it's extremely easy to get caught up in trying to figure out which tools are going to save you the most time. How can I delegate or hand off a task to some sort of tool that will do it for me more efficiently and cheap, or not cheaper, but with less of my time. So that's how it plays into burnout, I would say, is just because there's so much to think about and do, and it just adds on to the pile. Like that's because that all that stuff is not even necessarily, usually the tools don't do the actual work for you in your business model. The tools just help you structure and organize. So when you spend all your time, this is now me shifting into the second part of your question. When you spend all of your time trying to figure out what to do to set yourself up and to organize your thoughts, organize your daily time management, that's when you start. All of that is like not even related. I mean, it's related, but it's not even what's moving the needle on your actual progress bar. That's not even what's getting tasks done. That's just you thinking about how you can do it better. So that would be how I think
I think it's leading to, I think it can be a cycle that leads to even more burnout too, because you're like, oh, if I just had Opus Clip to help me edit my videos, that'll make me successful. And then first of all, it's doing two things, because one, you're shifting the blame to the tool and not, your ability to find a solution, and just half the time it's just you sticking with what you already have long enough for it to actually work. If people are too ADHD that they're just jumping, and I've done this plenty of times, you just got to stick with what you have and sell what you have. There's people out there that want what you have already, but you're so focused on like finding some way to improve it, or keep like tweaking the knobs in the studio to make it perfect, when at the end of the day it's good enough. Just push it out and stop thinking that you're a tool away from being saved. And then the more money you spend is the second part. That burns you out quicker because you run out of finances, and you might literally run out of steam to be able to keep financially pushing it forward. Or you're just going to get in your head and get very frustrated with the fact that you're not successful yet. And the more money you spend, the more that pressure adds up to perform. So you either need a big enough budget to not have to care about that, but most of us aren't running on unlimited funds. Otherwise, we wouldn't be entrepreneurs. So you need to be smart about it and understand that it's not just about getting something else. It's about figuring out what's missing. And most of the time, that isn't a tool. It's something that is a thought process that you have that needs to be improved. I think ChatGPT is a big issue with this. People think ChatGPT runs your business, and that's a big issue. It doesn't. It's just data. It's like going on Google. It'd be like saying Google runs my business. The information on Google can help me be more efficient at the problems I'm having, but it's not gonna do the day-to-day work for me. ChatGPT also doesn't know your situation. It's doesn't know. It might know how most entrepreneurs would react to not having funds when they're trying to launch a startup and having to bootstrap it, but it doesn't know your situation. Maybe you have a child, maybe you have school, and you have to basketball practice that doesn't afford you the time to go side hustle like it's telling you to do for 3 hours a day. Like it doesn't know. You can prompt it all you want, but you're still investing in trying to prompt it perfectly instead of thinking about the issue yourself, because you already have the knowledge. And instead, if you just knew how to solve those issues or had somebody that got you, that would be way better. I see that being an excuse all the time. Well, I'll just ask chat this. And I think that, I don't know if you agree with the new generation using this like all the time for school and stuff, but we're creating a new generation that's going to be dependent on getting their answers from something else and not thinking for themselves. It's a big problem in school systems nowadays. You're one power out and you're one blackout away from being, a Neanderthal, basically.
Lack of creativity. I mean, even in my own personal like entrepreneurial process, like that was for a period of like 3 to 4 months, which is way longer than that should have lasted. I was spending most of my time just like I would talk to ChatGPT for a couple hours and like figure out a new plan, a new content plan, for example, and then I'd like for like a week try it out, and then I'd like get discouraged and go through a burnout cycle, and the next week like immediately I'm going to ask ChatGPT like, well, let's make a new content cycle, like that's going to help me. It was always just cycle of burnout, go talk to chat. It just lacked a lot of original thought, any creativity, you know what I mean, any true understanding of what it was I was trying to accomplish and who I was trying to give it to. That an AI bot, I mean, it might know if you know how to ask it that question, but it's not doing the thing for you. It's just doing its best to compile data into a response to what you've asked it to do. And most of the time, you're not creative enough to get something that's that valuable out of it.
It's a tool, guy. It's lines of code, and you can have the best tool in the world. But at the end of the day, like you need to understand your situation, and you need to, even if it was like a person too, it needs to be able to take the data and then adapt that to your specific situation. Unless it's trained to do that, which ChatGPT and Grok tend to just be basic assistants, helpers. That's not really going to get you where you need to be. You either need like a human mentor that understands the sides of it, or just something that knows exactly what to ask you. ChatGPT isn't prompting you; you're prompting it. But there was a tool out there or something like that, which we're about to show you, that could do that and actually get to know you. That might change things. Before we get to that, though, I want to talk about another psychological effect that is, I think, is relating all of this. Loss aversion, which we talked about last time. Harvard's still standing on business on this, and I don't know, they might be right. They said 95% of our decisions are subconscious, which is insane to think about. Most of the things you're doing, most of the things you're not thinking about doing, because that's the whole point of I'm not thinking about breathing right now. Now I am. But now I'm not thinking about blinking my eyes. I'm not thinking about like the hand gestures I'm making until I am. Most of the stuff I'm doing is just I'm just doing it. I don't think about when to get hungry. My body just kind of like naturally knows what kind of time of day it is, stuff like that. Basically, most of you is a program, just like ChatGPT. You might not want to think so, but the 5% you do have control over is the engineer sitting at the keyboard typing the controls for that. So are you teaching yourself, like with using AI, are you depending on that? Are you teaching your system to depend on that? Or are you teaching it to level up like a Super Mario mushroom by kind of having that in your toolkit? I think too many times too, it's just you get frustrated because too many of the time you're thinking that like you're gonna change yourself too as a person instantly from having one conversation with ChatGPT. You're like, this is gonna change everything for me. You might remember some of it too, your subconscious will for sure, but it's not leading to actions that are gonna change your external environment. It's just a conversation, and I think too many people get too hung up on that. You feel good. I don't know. I'm sure most of the time when you had those 3 months or whatever of talking, you felt good. What percent of that was just talking versus work?
Yeah, very little. I mean, that's the thing too. I actually saw that I was taking a little scroll break today. I saw you reposted a video that talked about something similar. It was like the constant consumption of information has kind of replaced a lot of people's. It's replaced the need to like actually do anything. It's like your brain gets the same level of stimulation from just like learning something for in your mind for the intent of using it later, or getting better when like no work is actually being done to progress in any endeavor. And that's exactly how it felt for me. Like I kind of had to just, I deliberately stopped using ChatGPT for anything for like a couple weeks there, just to reset myself and how I thought about things. Cause it would feel great to me. It'd feel like I was accomplishing something, and then that was good enough for me for the day, and I'd go through the rest of my day, feeling accomplished when all I did was like write a prompt in chat that I was going to rewrite next week anyway. And I don't think we're bringing it up because I think that's a lot of people's experience now. So I'm glad we're talking about it, because I think a lot of people suffer from that as well, especially in the space we're in.
I think a lot of entrepreneurs love video games because we're the type of people that, love figuring stuff out and feeling like we're accomplishing something. But that's why that's such an addictive thing, because especially for men, why men love video games, because it's triggering, you don't realize it, but the sense of like creating or accomplishing, even though you should be doing that in the actual world. So it's basically masturbation for the ego side of you that feels like it needs to create and build, versus watching actual adult content for the sexual side of you. It's just pleasuring in different emotional sense that you need to also experience in the real world. And that's just yet again cutting off another one of life's experiences when you do things like that. And ChatGPT, I'm not gonna lie, you think it's so much different, but it's not. It's the same kind of aspect. The more you use it, the more you feel good. It's certainly good to get you guidance, but just like talking to a mentor, you're not gonna talk to a mentor and be like, oh my God, I'm an entrepreneur, I built $1 billion company, whatever it is. Did you? Or did you just talk to your mentor about it? Because then there's a difference. And at the end of the day, you're going to know it subconsciously too. You're definitely going to know, which is why porn's so dangerous and all that. But you're a phony, and you didn't actually do that in the real world. And so it's going to affect your psychological state and your ability to do it again and again, versus maybe you don't perform as well in the real world on your company. Then, the hypothetical simulation you're in with ChatGPT, Maybe you don't make as many sales, but you did it and it was real. So you actually can know that you're capable of changing things around you. And I think that's a big difference too. It's that you can run a million simulations, but it's not the same as being in the trenches. I want to talk about then our tool too, just because we need to start introducing Nova into conversations, guys. What it is it's ChatGPT on steroids for your business, and we designed that as part of Alturo, which is our entrepreneur space with live chats, our AI itself. We coming out with the AI powered calendar that connects to your Google Calendar, your Microsoft Calendar, runs your life kind of like an executive assistant. It's all powered by AI. You also have funding for your business, all that stuff, academy education on different niches to get into if you're an NFT holder that you can resell. But Nova is kind of our initial launch as we push forward to get a mobile app put out. It's going to compete with ChatGPT and Grok. But our superpower here is that we're focused all on what we just said, changing behavior and changing real life outcomes versus just talking about them. I'm tired of people just collecting information and wasting their time on that. This is the biggest thing since ChatGPT itself to push people in the right direction. What do you think, based on what you know about Nova, what do you think is one example where like this AI stop thing that we have could have turned like a stuck moment for you or somebody that into a productive version of yourself, or actually solve the problem like that based on what we've been working on?
Oh, brother, dude, it would have probably stopped me from wasting a lot of time, like months I'm talking. Because the thing about, like, we were just testing and playing with it yesterday, but I would be like talking to it about things I'm trying to accomplish with Altura as a COO, like whatever my responsibilities are. And you know how, like, if you use ChatGPT, it'll be like, so do you want to do this next, as like the bottom prompt. At the end of the prompt, it'll give you the actual thing, and in the end it has recommendations for X. Nova would like set up a task for me to do based on, I don't know if you're going to open it up right there, but basically, instead of it being that end of the prompt, it would like literally set up a task and be like, do you want to put this in your calendar sometime? And then it also would give you the opportunity to enter that task and then talk to it further to like further refine what that task should be and how it should be integrated.
So here's a calendar that everything's linked to, and then we're setting up functionality where you guys can link it to Google, Microsoft, Apple, whatever you use. So basically, the calendar is the executive assistant side. It's not just a calendar. It's an AR. That's you paying $1,000 a month to have somebody follow you around all the time, but for $15. And this is taking AI and it's reorganizing your schedule based on the tasks and the ideas of the actual execution based steps that you come up with Nova. Nova's your like mentor. It's your executive assistant, whatever you want it to be. That you can set down here, and it'll automatically rotate between these different modes right here. And also, again, so what we were saying is it learns about you. So let me go to these are the topics, for instance, that I talk about regularly, and it measures the main things that I've obviously just filled in filler info for me because this is a new account that I'm showing you guys out, but it shows you guys the main trends. So like ChatGPT, you kind of know what you talk about, but this actually shows you, and then you can click on it and it'll dive deep into explaining the different sides of that with you. Why do I talk about this? Where were we last on this conversation thread? Did we ever come to a conclusion on it? Themes are the more broad things too, about like the bigger picture ideas in your life that you want. Like I'm gonna figure out your vision and goals, or I want to get to know my customers better, things like that. And all of this creates insights, which you can walk through in an executive brief that tells you about yourself. Maybe that's your Myers-Briggs personality type. Maybe you don't even know what your personality is. Maybe it's your pros and cons about how you talk to other people, what you're strong at doing, maybe public speaking, or maybe come brainstorming ideas, but maybe you're weak at execution or whatever it is. And this is going to be brutally honest with you to tell you that stuff. And you can get that score better by talking to it more, and it'll fill out those different things. Like Anthony said, you can actually link your tasks with the calendar and come up with them here. As you talk to Nova, it's going to actually recommend tasks to go into that task list. And then you can have it do specific things down here. Generate legal documents too, building pitch decks, content planning, all of the stuff that like 99% of us have struggled with in their business. So then we have a conversation voice mode that activates, and you can select a different voice and talk to whoever you want to here. I'm not going to go through all that right now, but it's basically it's human sounding. You'll realize that as soon as you use it. But that's the system. I'm not gonna share too much more of the screen because you guys should go check it out by yourself. Obviously, this is part of Altura, so the website right here, alturasociety.com. You will see this landing page. Just go through. You can watch my video on it, but read through whatever you want, understand why we're different and why we're building tools that are going to beat ChatGPT, especially on, I'll show you guys even right here, the pricing, which is, ChatGPT charges 25, $30 a month or 200 for their, month to month plan. What we charge that for a lifetime for our tools. So it's going to be better, in my opinion, based on what we already have going. And I think that's like the breakdown, but painkillers for roadblocks. I should repeat myself. The number one outcome I think it is a solution to roadblocks. It's having a prescription, which is the whole point of a mentor. If you think about it, if you're a fitness coach, I mean, you probably know a little bit about that, but like somebody comes to you with a roadblock, is what I'd call it in fitness. They've plateaued their bench and they want to get to a new level. They don't know how to get into the gym because they're nervous, and you help them get over that and develop a basic strategy to help them get in. There's some sort of thing holding them back from a new level of success. And by you clearing that, by showing them how to navigate it and then getting to them to the other side, that's how you get your paycheck. This is just doing this whenever you need it in any area of your life, which is what ChatGPT doesn't, because it's not trained to do that. Ours is. But imagine how many, I don't know how many business ideas you have. I know you used to, flip Facebook Marketplace stuff in college. You're like reselling that stuff.
Yeah, I pursued a lot of, not for very long, but I pursued a lot of different business endeavors. So
Imagine if half of those ideas you just decided to stick with because you had the confidence of knowing exactly where your roadblock was, and then an exact plan. So can you think of an idea like for a business that you've started that the exact reason why you didn't keep doing it, or what the issue was that led you out of it?
yeah, I mean, we can just continue with the appliance thing I was doing, where I would just find people that were moving. I lived in a lot larger of a city at the time. People that were moving or just didn't want their appliances anymore. I'd go pick them up for like 50, $100, and I'd go clean them, fix them if they needed, and sell them for $200, $300. The reason I stopped though was because, well, one, it just took forever for myself to like drive in between places, and two, I hated dealing with people.
Well, imagine if you put that stuff into the AI, as well as maybe had your like emails and stuff where it could like do analysis for you in real time. But then it gave you solutions to those different ideas based on what it already knows about you. And not only that, but it knows about your personality type. It knows whether or not you'd be more keen for solutions where you need to talk on the phone with somebody, or like go visit somebody, or make a business plan and then have someone else execute it and all that stuff. If you had like 5 options that were tailored to the exact way you think and act, would you have had a greater chance of staying with it versus just you being thrown in the situation and you having to figure it all out?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that would have been a no-brainer to like have something that was new enough about me to recommend solutions that I otherwise would have thought of. That would have been super helpful. Yeah, well, I mean,
I think e-commerce, I love e-commerce for this example too, but like a lot of people give up on e-commerce because they just don't have a winning product. What if you had something to talk about with you that A, can look on the internet, and B, would also be able to talk to you about why your products weren't succeeding like a mentor would, instead of ChatGPT not really knowing how to ask those questions. And in this case, it tells you, hey, it looks like, based on what I know about this business idea, what's trending, stuff like this is probably why that didn't work. And this is what you need to do to pivot. And this is the actual tasks. I'll recommend these tasks that you can click to add into your calendar and, plot time today to do. And the AI will schedule it to get done as efficiently as possible. And by the end of today, we're not only generating the roadmap, but actually acting on it and accomplishing the next key driving factors that push your business forward. What if you had the tasks and the plan? How much more likely do you think you'd be to stick with that too? If it told you this is how you get 5 more sales by the end of the week.
I mean, it'd be hard to not at that point.
And if the difference, right, is like something like, I'm trying to think of like a high ticket, like a fitness coaching program, right? Versus not selling $2,000 program and you get 3 sales versus not, that's $6,000 in revenue. Having a $15 AI to use versus Grok charging you $30 and not doing that is probably a better deal in my opinion. You guys can do the math there, but thinking about how Nova is here to not only just help you figure out ideas, but also to change your behavior. It's giving you the actual task to execute. It's taking the idea from just the chat and putting it into the real world with actionable steps. This is how we take what we did and execute on it. We're not just going to sit here and talk like Grok, which motivates you to keep putting text in. It's not there to actually get you out and execute. This whole goal is like a mentor for you not to need it, and it'll only come back when you have other problems. And it's if you are growing as you're doing it, and then at the same time learning about your personality type, your key flaws, your strengths, your weaknesses, you're becoming a better communicator, better partner, a better friend, whatever it is, based on what it learns about you. I don't think you can put a price on that, frankly. I think that's invaluable. It's like having a roadmap then to become a better individual, like which most people would pay a lot more for than the business. And a lot of times that's linked together.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of just said a statement there. I don't really have much to add to that. It's just, like I said before, it'd be hard to not succeed at that point. It's like it's solving every problem that a new entrepreneur like has in the beginning. Like aside from the fact of you figuring out what you want to do, which Nova AI can do for you as well, by the way. It's already structured for you. Like it's helping you by means of knowing enough about you and what you're trying to pursue to literally structure and integrate with the calendar and then actually go and accomplish the tasks that it's recommending. Like I'll tell you this much, it's going to completely change once people catch on to it, like the way entrepreneurs are, like this whole process that entrepreneurs have to go through. Right now, it's kind of changing anyway for like the use of AI, but people aren't really succeeding for the most part. Like they're stuck in the same cycles that I was. And it's because it's still a relatively new tool. I mean, I know it's been out for a few years now, but people still haven't figured out that it's only as good as, like, first of all, it's programming and then how you prompt it. Like it's not some magical being that's going to tell you how to do this. But for a tool that's there, the tool we've created is literally designed to do that. It's literally designed to be more than just a series of zeros and ones that just are in response to your prompt. It's telling you what to do next, when to do it, and how to do it. And that's going to be an absolute game changer for people in our niche.
There's a million other benefits too. It's linked to our crypto economy. You're going to get paid money to use our ecosystem and to be part of our community, just to engage in general. You're going to get airdrop free cryptocurrencies. It's going to be pretty sweet. Our data is not owned by massive corporations that we're sharing your stuff out to. We keep it, and you guys, if you're an NFT holder, you get to vote on the decisions inside the platform. So you get a say over what happens with your own privacy. And also, additionally, right, it's that middleman. This is for the first time ever, this is the $1 billion idea, is taking an AI that's already really advanced and being able to apply tactical solutions. So you develop the strategy and the kind of midterm goals, but the actual day-to-day stuff, you know exactly what you're doing. So most of the time, I'm sure, Anthony, from your conversations, I know from mine too, it gives you like the broad level, this is where you kind of need to focus, or some ideas, but it doesn't say send 16 messages by 6 p.m. today or whatever. And then I also have like a let's put this in your calendar and go type it. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing that we're solving. And hopefully you guys try it out. It's free to try out. Hopefully you see the value there. But do you know what nova means? Like, is it like a supernova, or is nova in general?
No, honestly, I don't. Something to do with AS.
It's a star that it inflames and grows extremely bright before eventually kind of fading back down and returning to its original point. So it's kind of like a massive burst in energy, or what I would call a light bulb moment. It's the same thing that's happening with your tool here. You guys are coming to a point where you are exploding in growth, and you are generating a massive idea or light bulb moment, a shine of light on this new problem with an exact visual path of how to go forward. And then eventually you come back down to your normal state where you use it again for the next problem. And it's creating this series of light bulb moments to illuminate the path in front of you that you guys can use in a chain sequence to literally start any business and basically have a guarantee of success compared to somebody that's just doing it on their own. So that's the why it's called that. And that's why I like the name so much, because it's showing you the roadmap forward. It's creating this explosion of idea or this insight before you work, and eventually obviously everybody comes back down to their state with a new problem, and that's when you come back to us. The goal is not to use the AI like a mentor. And I've said this with people I've coached or talked to. The goal isn't for you to need me. The goal is for you to pay me until you don't need me anymore. And then I'm here when you need me again. But I'm here to solve a problem, just like I would be coaching you guys one-on-one. So is the AI. It's not here to, like Sam Altman or Elon Musk, get you to keep feeding data into it and paying them, because that's how they make their money, by you using it and all that stuff. In this case, it's here to solve your problem and then just wait until maybe another problem shows up. Maybe it doesn't, but hopefully you fix it immediately and give you the steps to overcome that. So that way you don't ever have to ask the same thing again. And plus, too, that's why I had the trends and insights thing. So the problems that are still lingering out there, we prioritize getting those fixed so you guys can see exactly what are those big like red thumbs sticking out that we can hit and turn into actionable tasks so we can knock those out too. And it's all focused on execution.
If we're talking like from the community as a whole too, like I do want to hit like it's just even that's like all of that. The thing that just sounds wonderful is literally just from Nova. Like that's our main value driver. That's like just a part of what we actually do at Altura too, though. So I'm not going to go too far in depth. If you've been watching that podcast, you know. But I mean, if you hit I don't know which one you're going to.
I'm just gonna show the dashboard.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so many benefits to be had from NFT ownership. I mean, it comes down to the academy being built out, like literal. Not only do you have Nova like as your personal mentor, AI consultant kind of thing, literal educational hubs too, to like learn from entrepreneurs that are currently in the stage of development, like either just ahead of you or a few steps ahead of you, to help you learn what tactical skills you need to start learning and what tactical steps you can take to start doing it too. Startup incubator. I mean, once you guys, that's the problem too. Like we found with most, because as entrepreneurs ourselves, like every other entrepreneurial education source out there is just like Netflix, high production. Let me just entertain you for a while, give you all the answer, give you the code to life. From my Airbnb with my rented car, it just kind of leaves you with nothing more than a side hustle. But like this is unseen from any other, sort of entrepreneurial education platform ever. Like not only are we giving you the tools to like not need us anymore, like literally come in, use the tool. If you want, have lifetime access to the ecosystem, and then you also get voting power for which small businesses are going to get funded. But then we're also going to like give you the opportunity to take your small side hustle or small business and scale it through our funding platform. Like nobody else is doing stuff like this. And so I just wanted to point that out too, that it's like all this episode alone where we talk just about Nova is like one part of what we're actually building too. So don't even forget that there's so many other benefits, like the connection hub. He's going through all of them right now, but so many other benefits to lifetime holdership. But if all you were interested truly in was just figuring it out, like through this little hump you have, I mean, you could do the accelerate plan and just go through. Honestly, it's free right now. You don't even have to pay like to go use Vision AI. But I just wanted to put out there that like you have so much more to gain, like being a part of an ecosystem of people that are in the same position as you and are building it together to be a lifetime member through our NFT ownership as well.
And again, we're rewarding you guys. Well, I guess I have this up. We're paying you guys money in the real world to bring people in. You like, again, a membership's $15, as I said. You guys are keeping $10 of that for using your link and sharing that with people. That same link, as you guys can see, is tracked to our points challenge too, which from the same use will award you cryptocurrency in the form of translating your points to tokens. And as you can see here, that's a considerable amount of reward as we approach after we launch our token at 4 cents and launch it to, or scale it to $1 billion. You guys will make considerable money from being early and participating. I only sent about 100 and I think 10 or something messages in the Discord to get to this point, except for, just doing the feedback and stuff like that too. So it really wasn't hard. You guys just need to participate, use our stuff, and benefit from the actual stuff that we're providing to you right here. Again, you would be paying probably $100 for all those tools separately, minimum, in other communities. And based on what we're adding to, we plan on adding like an actual operation system, like a hosting service for your agency where you can use our tool that's integrated with like the AI, the calendar and all that. And it runs your business. Like you can invite your clients to it and have meetings with them, have chats. They can have an app that they can download, all this stuff. It's probably going to be integrated in at some point too. So you not only learn in Nova, actually the 3 steps would be interact with the community, get the benefits, get the networking, find your business partner, get your funding, all the stuff that happens in Altura. Then you use Nova as your day-to-day AI assistant, which also schedules your stuff in the calendar. And then finally, right, you host your business in our operating system that we'll be putting out soon. And you never need another app. You delete Google because Google is already linked to our stuff. And we become, a cheaper alternative that's actually here to help you and not just hoard profit like most of these other big corporations. My vision is simple. My vision is that enough of you guys, when we launch the crypto, will use this funding to create insane technology, just as we did. And I want 10,000 business owners to get, $50,000 thrown at them to start the craziest software and technology with the biggest potential on the market. We all come together, share our resources, learn from each other, partner with each other's businesses that you guys basically got free money to start. And we take down the giants. We compete against Google. We compete against Apple, companies that have massive market share. And we give power back to the average everyday entrepreneur that gets the benefit by being in our community, getting access to the tools that we invested in your company. And everyone wins. That's a broad democratic way where everybody gets to have a say. Your NFT counts your vote. Again, guys, it's all on the website. If you want an NFT, you can literally buy that on our platform right here. Connect your wallet address, and that's where we'll send it to. You can see it will get you access to the in-person events when we start doing those in the real world. And just check it out. I mean, it's all in one website. There's everything you need to know there. And if you have questions, we're meeting after this with somebody to answer some questions. You can literally schedule a free call with me and Anthony, and we'll just come chat with you about what you want to know. Because we want to make this as clear as possible, and we have all the time right now we can give to make that true. What else you got in terms of, you want to piggyback on anything there? Or?
No, I think I already said my piece before that. Yeah, I just appreciate all you guys that are actually viewing this stuff. I know we started out the first 10, we didn't really have any viewers, kind of getting a few here and there as we keep going. So I appreciate all you guys that come out and make time to actually listen to what it is we're building and have the open mindset to hear somebody out about the honestly really cool features that we've developed, or that Caleb's developed, and with Nova and with the website in general. But it's a work in progress, and doesn't get accomplished without you guys too. So shout out to y'all.
My goal for Nova, and that's going to be the first app we launch, it's going to be like a ChatGPT Grok competitor, but in my opinion, it's more dialed in for helping you learn and grow as an individual than just gathering information. It'll still have those capabilities, but I think we're going to knock it out of the park when we launch on the Apple Store and Google Play Store very soon. It's going to be, my goal is, if I can solve you having zero plan on a business, you don't even know a business you're going to start, and having a clear step-by-step roadmap in 7 days to generate your first revenue, I think that's a promise I can make to everybody with Nova by the time we launch. Within the first hour, it'll get to know about you and your personality, what kind of businesses would be best for you and all that. If you've been a member of the Andrew Tate's The Real World, they kind of start you out with a similar survey. We're just doing it through an AI, so you don't have to take a quiz and randomly get dropped into a program. This helps you figure out, broader than just e-commerce or stock trading or crypto or whatever, the exact business to actually get into. Not only that, but the tasks you should be doing tonight to make it a reality. And obviously, we're still in development mode, still in beta, and it's going to get better as you guys use it more and give feedback in the platform. But this is, just the fact that Anthony and I are in our 20s, we understand the problems you guys are going through, the ADHD, the tong tong xiao memes, crowd clouding our judgment of being able to lock in, the brain rot, the economy, all of this stuff. I would hope that goes a little bit further than trying to trust a 50-year-old with billions of dollars saying that he cares about you trying to make it. And I hope that goes a little bit further too.
Yeah, the truth is he doesn't, by the way. But
any final thoughts on why this changes the game for stuck entrepreneurs, or what somebody that's thinking about using this or signing up should know before they check out the website or anything like that, or if they're debating switching from ChatGPT to something like this?
Just that it's free. You could potentially gain, I don't want to be cliche and say everything, but you could gain a lot from having something that's going to break that cycle of just that I've been in personally, that I still kind of find myself in every once in a while, where I get I crave the knowledge, the wealth of knowledge, the information, to a point where that's all I do instead of actually moving the needle. If you want to break that cycle, there's no better tool than Nova, because Nova literally I mean, because it knows everything about you and the business that you're trying to start and your business model, by means of you just answering a few simple questions, like as soon as you get into it for free, it like forces you to like stop, like in between prompts and like look at this thing that says, "Hey, I recommend you do this tonight. Would you like to add it to your calendars?" You click, yeah, and if you want, you can further refine that, and then it goes to your calendar, and then it's literally on there as a task for you as a like-minded entrepreneur who runs off that feeling of accomplishment. It's like a check the box. It's like a to do. Now you have something on a to do, and then you keep working with Vision AI, and it keeps adding more and more. And now you have an actual plan of action instead of just an idea or like a general concept. Otherwise, ChatGPT or Grok would give you. Now you have actual tasks. So that's that cycle of thinking where like you constantly need to feel like you're accomplishing is exactly what I go through every single day. I think it's just a personality type, like you said, that's common amongst entrepreneurs because otherwise, why would you put yourself out there at risk financially and with your time to, try and make something better for yourself?
I think it's getting worse with social media too, because like you're being constantly told there's always a better business idea out there, and you can never trust that what you chose last week when you see 20 more TikToks of a million different industries popping off that you can actually stick with it. But if you had the reassurance and the plan to do it, I think that's the biggest thing that I think could help you because I've been where you are. I still kind of am
Yeah.
is to help the develop itself. Like I want to literally talk the AI about it.
We're literally like I'm literally using it as the chief operations officer to manage a team of moderators, to manage outreach for the company, to manage development of a lot of the tools inside the academy, suite of educational tools. Like our platform is inadvertently building itself, like because I'm using it. You know what I mean? And that's just something that it wouldn't, at the very least, would cost you nothing to like check out and try. So that's my advice, man. Just check it out. Just try it out. It's free to use. It's on our website. Make an account and just come see what it's all about. I mean, because we can talk to you about all you want, but in practice, like that's why we made it so simple to use. And with the aesthetic that Kayla's put a ton of time into perfecting, is because our words are only worth so much. You got to come check it out. That's all I'll say.
All in there. Find your path, guys. All I can say is trust me. I mean, use it for yourself. You can only watch the video and it can only take you so far. It's like ChatGPT. Eventually there'll be an app too. If you guys are like deciding, like, oh, ChatGPT's got the app and all that stuff. I'd like to actually make a mode at some point where we can just export your ChatGPT or Grok data and just bring it in so it already has a starting basis. I think that'd be really awesome, just to give it context and make it even easier. So a lot of you guys are worried about like what you already have saved in your conversations and stuff. And then additionally, just the app functionality. Yes, we're gonna have an AI that's linked to a calendar in the same app where you guys can just have one app to manage your life and planning and all this stuff. It's gonna be your executive assistant app, and it's gonna be free to download. So just that's gonna be coming in the next couple of weeks. So I would make the commitment now and just hang tight with us. We built all this within like 2 months. So if you guys are considering the lifetime membership, which costs basically what ChatGPT costs for the pro version for 1 month, but in this case, a lifetime with all the other benefits I just pointed out, the operating system, the calendar, the in-person meetups, the funding for your company, it's pretty clear value painted out, and I'd encourage you to use that. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching episode 30. As always, I'm rooting for you. Take care.